So I'm going to talk about pattern import export. It's a module for importing and exporting data, but mostly on for Excel or LibreOffice. So who I am, Sébastien Beau, I think you already hear about me, maybe. So I'm co-founder SEO of Acquisition Funds. I've done the initial contributor on Magento and PrestaShop and creator of Shop Invader, and I've done many contributions on the OCA. So why we have built pattern import export, I'm going to show you a demo. It will be a dynamic demo every time we are going to see feature of pattern import and how it's working. And then we can talk about moving this on the OCA. So the idea of pattern import, firstly, is built on top of base export manager. So we already reuse the improvement of the interface for the native export of Odoo. I don't know if you know this module, but basically it gives you the possibility, give you a new interface to see and to modify the native ER export. And the aim is to of this module is to make really more easy the import, mostly the import on Excel, updating your data, manage when you have huge catalog or and you want to export and import to update the data in mass. The aim is to make it more easily to create a lot of product in mass or stuff like that. So one thing is we will see that we have a way to have a template file, because sometimes users don't know which field they have, what is the header for importing data in Odoo. And we have done a lot of improvement on the way to manage relation field, like many-to-many or one-to-many or many-to-one. A better management, partial commit support, because when you do a huge import, if you have one link that failed, you may only, you don't want to have everything that failed. You want to import the data and then only import the failing one. And the code source for now is on the Shop Invader repository, Shop Invader / pattern import export. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. So the first thing that I'm going to, when you install the module, you have a new menu, import export. We need to add a logo for this module. And here you have three submenus. So the first menu is the pattern. We are going to explain what is this pattern. Then you have the file that you have imported and the file that you have exported, because it's done in background. So if I go here, I'm going to show you an example of configuration. So here you have you can put a name to your model of export. You can choose a model, and then you can choose a format, and you have an option. We are going to see after this the tab import first or based on the name. You have the pattern file. I'm going to show you what is it. You have several options, and then you have the configuration, which look like what we have in base export manager. So for the demo, I'm going to create a new one. So I'm going to create a new export. I want to export partners. I'm going to create OCA demo export partner. So I'm going to choose the model. So REST partner. I'm going to choose the format. So Excel by default. Regarding the chunk size priority, we're going to see this after. And for now, I'm going to add two things. I'm going to export the name and also the reference of my partner. I'm going only to do this, nothing more. Here, if I click on generate, I will have a demo file. So this is my template file. Oops. Not this one, is this one. So it's my template file where you have the name and the reference. So in this case, it's not really complex, because it's just a name and a reference on the partner. But the idea is that with just one click, you have a model of what you should import based on what you have configured. So now we are going to see more things. So for the relation field, for example, if you want to import field like many to one or many to many, you want to match the imports. For example, if I update the country on a partner or update tag on a partner, you may want to match this based on the code or the name of the object, but it depends of the relation object. So the idea is that you are able to match with whatever you want on the relation object. Also, we want to apply validation rule in LibreOffice or Excel, because most of the time, if you when you do import export, you can, if you mistype the name of the category, the name of the country, or stuff like that, you are going to have a failing import, and this can be solved directly in Excel or LibreOffice. And also, we are going to improve the many-to-many. By default, in Odoo native, you use comma to, you can put in one column, you can put several data with a comma, but this is not really great if you want to do validation. So I'm going to show you what this looks like with pattern. So now I'm going to have a real example. I want to update the country on my partner and import to update the country on my partner. So I'm going to select the country, and then here I can choose the code, for example. If I choose the code, now I can generate a pattern. If I look at the file, so here I have a new column, and here you see that it's country pipe code. So we don't use slash to avoid brain mix-up with native Odoo import. So the idea here is that if I import something, I'm not going to create a new country. I'm going to import the country ID based on the code of the country. So Odoo will search which country match with the code. If I change and I put the name, for example, if I change here and I put the name, it will be use the name. But something more interesting is maybe it's you can do error by not typing the right country code. So you can tick here and add a select tab. So if I add a select tab, I generate again. Here I will see that I have something new in my file. I have a new tab here, country, and I have my list of country code. And if I go back here, I'm going to edit the document. Instead of having a simple field where I can fill whatever I want, I have a selection field directly in Excel. So I can pick the right country and I can select the right one. And if I mistype something, I directly will have an error in my Excel or LibreOffice. So it avoids you to mistype stuff when you are filling the data, and directly in Excel. So you don't have to do an import, wait for half an hour, have error. No, you just have the error here right now. And then you have another option, is a filter. So here you can select a filter. I'm going to show you how you can create one. So basically, it's just a normal filter of Odoo. So I can go here. I go in my contacts. I can create a filter. I'm going to my country. Sorry, country. I can create a filter. I can put a filter where I don't know G in name. It's a stupid filter, but it filters every country with a G in the filter. So I can save it. I can save it. I can share with everybody. I save it. And now if I go back here, I can select this filter. I can save it. For example, in this case, instead of putting the code, I can put, for example, the name of my country. So you can see. And I generate again. And in that case, Now you will see that first we use the name now here. Here is my list of country with the letter filtered. So I don't have anymore the whole list of country, but I just have the country that match the filter. And so I can select here my country in the list of country filtered. So this is the first thing to how we manage many-to-one relation. So the idea is to make it more smart directly in Excel without doing using ID or stuff like that, because importing using with an ID it's a nightmare for the customer because they always mistype stuff. It can be a lot of error, and if you put the name, for example, and you don't have validation, if you mistype something, everything will not work. So now we're going to see how you can manage many-to-many. So in that case, I'm going to add a new case. I'm going to, I think it's tag, yeah, tag, and tag I'm going to export based on the name, for example. Here, it asks me how many tags I want to have by default in my Excel file. So I'm going to put 3. And I want also to have the select tab. I'm going to save it. Generate the pattern. I can take this pattern. And now you will see that you have a new tab with the list of tags. And here, in the same way as before, but there is some, I'm going to increase the size of cell. Here, as I've selected 3 tags, the pattern have 3 times the category ID with 1, 2, 3, and here I can select my tag of my customer partner. So I can select the tag here without, and if I type something wrong, it raises me an error directly. So here it's how we manage many-to-many fields. So now we are going to talk about importing one-to-many. In native Odoo, when you import one-to-many, you import it with several lines. So you have the main line, for example, you have your partner, and then you have the contact of your partner in different line after the partner, and Odoo will import and link it based on the first line. The issue with this is if at one moment you sort the file, then you break your file because it's not done for as the order really matter. You cannot do a sort, and most of the time at one moment the customer is going to do a sort and then it break your whole file. So we're going to show how you can use sub-pattern and use in that case we use monoline. So we're going to show you how we import one-to-many. So the first thing is that we are going to create a pattern for the contacts. So I'm going to click here, OCA demo contacts pattern. I'm going to choose a model. So contact, the same one. I'm going to choose Excel. And then I can put here, I'm going to put the name, for example. Some partner. Also, I'm going to put the email. Also, one thing I forget to talk before is the concept of key. When you do an import, maybe you want to import again. And when you want to import again, you don't want to create again the data. You want to update the data. So, for example, we can say, okay, in my case, I want to match the contacts based on the email, for example. So when I do this import, maybe I want to update some extra information on my contact or to update the name, for example, but I want to keep want to update based on the existing email. So you can choose what is the key for updating your data. You don't have to have using external ID is not anymore mandatory. You can use an existing key. And for example, in your case, if we go back to the demo export partner, we can say, okay, the reference on my customer are a key. So when I import again with the same reference, it will update instead of creating a new one. And now, so I've created a simple contact pattern. So I will import, export the name and the email. And now I can go back to my export partner and select that I want to choose the contacts. And here, as it's a one-to-many field, he asks me how many contacts do you want to import or export. So I choose 2, for example, and I choose my sub pattern. So I'm going to choose this one, and that's it. I'm going to save it. I'm going to generate a pattern, and now you have a new pattern file. Increase it, and here, if I go, so you still have my field we see before, and now I start to have some new field. I have child IDs, pipe 1, child ID pipe 2. So this one will be my first contact, and this one will be my second contact. And if I put 3, 4, 5, it will add more columns. So with this, I will be able to sort my file without any issue, because it's one line will import my partner and all my contacts. So I can sort it without any specific issue. And as you see now in my header, since I tick the option is a key, I have an hashtag key here to define that, okay, this field, this column will be used for re-importing, for updating, for searching an existing partner in my database. So now also we have something like a more technical human header. Right now we have seen that we have a pattern with a technical field. If you want, you can use a descriptive additional field. So in that case, if I generate the pattern again, instead of having only one header, I will have 2 headers. So we'll have one header for human being, the first one, so you understand more. Okay, it's a tag. It's so it uses the name, the field name in Odoo, and after you have the technical name. So you can have a double header to understand more what this field means. So okay, and now the import. What we are going to see is when you want to do an import, if you import a huge file, this module will split the import in chunk. It will use QJob to process this task in background. And if you want, you can activate if it should be multi-process import or not. For example, if you import a partner, you can activate multi-process. You don't have dependency between partner. If you import product, you can activate multi-process. But if you import, for example, the category, then you can have category that depend on other category. And in this case, you don't want to process in parallel the import, because if you import a really deep category, then it will fail because the parent is missing. And also, we want to have feedback in LibreOffice or Excel, and we want to have the partial commit. So I'm going to show you how this works. So now I have configured my import, and I'm going to open a file. So I'm going to import one. So I'm going to import a file, and also I should open this file. I'm going to show you. I have a failing job. I'm going to show you what is in this file, so you'll understand why we have a failing job. So in this file, what I have done, I have created many partners. I call them OCA 1, OCA 2, etc. There is 2 partners where I forget to to put a name. It's a required field, and I voluntarily forget it. So here I have selected my country. I've added my tag. I have created contacts. So on some partner, I've created one contact. On other partner, I've created two contacts. So this is the data I have put here. And now, if I go here to see what have been imported, so oops. So here I have a pop-up who tell me, okay, there is something that failed, the import has failed. And if I go here, it show me all the import job that have been processed. So I can see the last one, and it's the file I have imported. One thing I forget to, well, I'm going to improve it. So here, you see, I have one chunk. So here it's a chunk. So you have only one chunk that have been processed, and there is 7 success and 2 error. And if I click here, I can see the 2 error, but the line 9 and 10, the contact require a name. I'm going to do something better, is that I'm going back here. I'm going to change the chunk size. I'm going to put 5. I'm going to import again this file. So I will have an error also because the import is the same. I see that here I can also go here to see my failing pattern file. So here's my new one. And here I have 2 chunks. So I have one chunk that have been processed without any error, and one chunk that have been processed with error. The huge point is that every line that have been correct have been imported. So if I go back here in my contacts, if I type OCA, I have my partner here that have been imported. So only the failing one that have been not imported. And one thing that I can do is I can click on the file that I have imported. I'm going to click on it. And now here you will see that you have directly feedback in your Excel file where you have an error. So what you can do is adding a filter and say, okay, now I'm going to focus only on the file where I have an error, and you can type fix. You can put. Oops, okay. I think I have just my file. What I've just realized that I've done something wrong. My error is I put them manually and I put them wrong. So I do filter here. Oh no, I think I have. Okay, I understand. I think I have a little bug. I have to fix it. It's the error column. I didn't see it before, but the error column. When we modify the file, we add this error column, and the validation form didn't have been moved by Excel by default. So I have a little stuff to fix, but doesn't matter. So your point is that you have here your feedback directly in your Excel file, so you can modify here and then import it again. So if, for example, I want to update my partner. So for example, here I see that I see my contact whose name is OCA1. If I modify my file and say, okay, OCA updated, as I use the email, use the reference as a key. If I import it again, so I can go here, partner, I can import it again. Same, it will be a failing file because I have some error in my file. But if I go back here and I search, my partner has been updated. So the update is working. So just based on the key, and you can define whatever key you want. And also you can even define several keys. So if, for example, if you want to don't know, import something and it should match the email and something else, then we can use the both key to search the partner, and the 2 keys should match. So now we have seen how we can do an import. And now we're going to see how you can do an export. So the export, as you, I'm going to go back to do. If I go, for example, on my contacts, I can close this. I can select my contact, and then I can set here export with a pattern. So I can choose my pattern. So I can use demo export partner. I run the export. Then I have a job, and I can download it directly here. And I have my partner exported. So in the format that we have defined all together. So you can see that we don't have reference on all partner. You have the country name, you have the category, the tag, etc., etc. So, and you have your first contacts that are here. So now, what is the roadmap for this module? I want to add support of selection field. We forget to add this. We should do it in the same way we did for the many-to-many and many-to-one. We also want to do an integration with OnlyOffice because it will be great if you can directly edit a document in a Google-like way with a Google Drive or stuff like that. So you can you do your import, your feedback in online with OnlyOffice. I don't know if you know it, but it's a great product. So you will have the feedback here, and then you can modify it and re-import it, and it will be give a great experience for the user. And maybe you can add some extra feature like re-importing file, but only the failing one. So if there is a column with an error, we can only import this file. And we need more feedback from user and customer case. So the question is, let's move it to the OCA, because I think now it starts to be quite stable. And if you have any question, I will be happy to answer it. Fine.
Okay. Thank you, Sébastien. I don't know. Can you see me now?
Yeah. Yes, I think it's. I don't know where is my Zoom.
It hides a little bit. So thank you for that interesting talk. So let's have a look at the chat, whether some questions are on. I don't think not from the community right at the moment, but I have a question, or I'd like to answer you something. So you asked whether you should share it with the community, and I would say definitely. So that's a great module. So I think that especially end users and Excel lovers and Excel addicts will love it. So it's really useful. So please share that once that's finished, or at least stable enough.
I think we can. It's a specific repository, so I think we can directly move it to the OCA. And also, I forget there is some extra module. It's called Pattern Export Synchronize, and this gives you the possibility to directly import a file from SFTP or Amazon S2 or whatever you want. So it's, if you have to do for example, you have a supplier that can send you data, then you can import it automatically with a cron or stuff like that. So it's
cool.
It's another feature, and we also support CSV file if you want to import in the CSV file way. So it's
and you should definitely make sure once you share that with the community to put the link to this presentation to the README file in order to let people understand how it's being used, because I think that's pretty complex, and I think I have to follow or relook the entire video and conference twice again to understand everything you can do with that module. But pretty cool.
Thank you.
Great work, as always, I must admit. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions? Otherwise, we're gonna have a break.
Yeah.
Let me check. Yes, there's supposed to be a break for 15 minutes, so everybody can get his refreshments, coffee, waters, and things like that. And we meet again at 4 o'clock here in the room. Thank you again, Sébastien, for that great talk.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.
Well, there's a question going on here. Wait a second. What is writing something? Hope it's fast enough. Let's check. There are a couple of people now handing in their questions, I suppose. So is something going on underneath?
I can wait. I have time.
Let's see. Otherwise, you can probably answer the question in the chat. Yeah, exactly.
Be available.
So we're gonna wait the people to finish their question and then answer them in Discord. Thank you again, Sébastien.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.